Hey guys, so someone commented and said that Orlin had put up a new video and what he was talking about. So I went to Orlin's page, and sure enough, he made a video. Um, Kind of looks like a continuation of the last video. I'm like, he's wearing the same hat, the same shirt. Uh, it's in the same area, nighttime. So I mean, this could have been filmed in advance, but regardless, it's really not matter. It doesn't really matter what time he films it. It's what he says in it. So once again, he kind of reiterates that Nick is trying to get to not only he says he's close to 500 pounds already. In the is this just small absence? He says he's eating, 8 to 9,000, 10,000 calories a day. That he's trying to get to 600 pounds. And hoping that once he gets to that much, that he'll be able to get a show, which that's not going to happen. But like people pointed out, you know, corporations these days, they'll probably make a show regardless. Um, he says that Nick apparently has trouble fitting in the car now, and I believe it. Um, he says that now when like he weighs himself, he has to have a chair behind him because can't stand for long. I believe it. I mean, I'm 6'4" and I'm not even really that big, and even I have problems standing for long. So if I have problems, he does. I mean, Nick Borland says something about Nick's diabetes, so apparently he really. I mean, it could be lying. I mean, don't put anything past them, but with the amount of shit that Nick eats, I wouldn't be surprised if he did have diabetes. I mean, you can't eat all that and get away scot free. If you had an active lifestyle, then yeah, which I brought up someone else because two people who do pretty much the same thing. One is Nick, and the other is the person who we're gonna see. And just the different paths that both of them went down. So we know what Nick looks like. This is Eric. Eric the Electric. Pretty cool guy. Um, Same thing. He eats. I mean, where is it? Right here. That's all the Cheesecake Factory. That's I like each one of those is about 1,500 calories. And I calculate it, I put it in, and it's about 48,000 calories. But look at him. He's fit. He's fit. Why? Because he works out. He has a healthy lifestyle. He runs. He rides his bike. Goes to the gym. He when he when he's not doing these, he's eating healthy foods. Um, I mean, fucking all these Krispy Kreme, you know damn fucking well these are all unhealthy. Um, where yeah, this stuff right here, all these sweets, and you got some sliders and some cake in the middle, and yeah, it's eh, there are no calories in dessert. Exactly. Just in just love. No, but you can see he's very thin, and for a guy who eats all this, I mean that's what is this Chinese? Oh my god. And he'll finish all of this. So he's eating more than Nick, and yet he's not even close to being the weight that Nick is. Look at him. He's thin. He works out. He runs constantly. He goes to the gym constantly. But according to Orlin, Nick's pretty immobile now. He just kind of wants to sit in bed. And I mean, not surprised. You're putting all this weight on your body. Your joints are going to hurt. Your muscles are going to hurt. They have all this extra weight to compensate for. And if you don't have the muscle mass to support it, it's going to hurt. So, yeah, I believe uh him having to ride around on his scooter more. Yeah, I believe that. Like I said, the character that we see the character of Nikocado Avocado, that's just that, a character. But the repercussions of that character, of what he's doing as that character, are very real. Like I've said, the CPAP machine, that those things run from 500 to about 1,100 to $1,200, and those help you breathe mainly at night when you're laying down and your chest, like you have all this fat up here, and if you're like Nick, it's pressing down on your lungs, so your lungs are not able to you know expand and contract and all of that like they normally would. So essentially, if he can't breathe, his heart will stop. So he has the CPAP machine that circulates air. We've seen the distilled water sitting uh, under on his little side table thing. Um, and my mom has to use the CPAP machine, so I know that the distilled water, that's what he has it for. That's what he needs it for, is to flush out the machine from the all the bacteria and this and that. So he has to use distilled water. So with all that weight pressing and having while he's eating, I mean, you ever notice that sometimes when you eat, you start eating too much and you're like, even if you're thin, you'll sit there, well, imagine it for Nick. So I bet you anything, when even if he's not recording, he's wearing that CPAP machine and to help him breathe, because he's just constantly adding more fat around his heart, around his lungs, around the things that expand. The heart just beats, but if it's got fat around it, it can't really do anything. So therefore, it has a harder time pumping blood to everywhere else. That's why you see sometimes limbs going blue, because they're not getting the blood that they need, because the circulation is just really, really bad. But all this for apparently for a TV show. I don't know why it's that important when he makes more than enough money with YouTube. But it's like Orland said, like for him, Nick, nothing's ever enough. He just keeps going. He can't fit in the car anymore. He can't really walk very well, so he has to use like a walker type thing. Sorry, I had to cut away real fast because I had to sneeze like crazy. But I'm gonna play a little bit of what Orland's saying, so that way you can kind of hear him say it. So
this moment, and that's the reality, and he doesn't care about his health, about his body, about his neck, about his looks. And I was actually here alone today making this video because he can't even fit in the car anymore. It's gotten to the point where he cannot fit in the car. He can just go as far as his scooter, because he's able to fit on his scooter because there's no walls, and he doesn't have to use a seatbelt. He can't even use a seatbelt now. And he refuses to get a seatbelt extension, and he can't go in a car anymore. He's basically stuck either using a scooter to go to Walmart, or he's just bedbound. I mean, basically, I just get him food and he eats. He does takeout all day long. That's all he does, is just takeout. He stopped eating vegetables completely. He's basically just dedicated to be a 500-pound girl, and he's almost there. It's definitely gonna happen. He's almost completely immobile, basically immobile. He has to use a chair. Like, he has to have a chair whenever he's doing anything. Like, if he's gonna go on the scale, he has a chair right behind him just in case he has to sit down, because he's gonna fall over because he's so fat. I mean, we have a talking scale and it's already malfunctioning because he's so fat.
which I believe those things, he had to get a new one because the other one he had couldn't read his weight anymore. They can only read so much. So yeah, I believe that because we don't know what they're doing when they're not recording, and Nick is one of those people who seems dedicated to his craft. It's like method acting. It's like when people get really super thin for the role, or you're playing a psychotic, serial killer. You kind of isolate yourself from everyone, and you just kind of try to feel what they feel and kind of take on that personality. So that's what Nick is doing now. He's just, he's like, okay, I'm dedicated to reaching this goal. And again, I understand they lie. I'm not fucking stupid. But at this point, you can't really deny what you see. Nick is well over 400 pounds. So when we hear that he has a goal of 500, is it really far fetched? Is it really that out of the ordinary or hard to believe? I don't think so. And the more you weigh, the better chance you have of getting a TV show. So, yeah, pretty much grain of salt with everything, but considering how money hungry Nick is, I'm not putting it past him. I'm really not. And I've said before, Orland has a chance to make things better, but instead he just enables. He just enables it. He could easily say, you know what, Nick, I'm done. If you want to fucking sit here on your fat ass and eat and essentially kill yourself, you can go ahead and do that, but I'm not going to be part of it. I'm leaving. And then Nick will have two choices. He can either continue doing what he's doing, not giving a shit that Orland left, or he can say, you know what, losing my husband and my best friend it's not worth all of this. I'm not going to lose someone because of my obsession with YouTube money. But I mean, Orland is just as bad. But if anyone was to snap Nick away from that lifestyle, it would be Orland. But Orland actually has to stick to it. He has to say, hey, I'm done. And not one of those fucking fake, oh, we broke up, and oh, well, look at us, we're back together a week later. No, he has to legit fucking leave. He needs to legit leave. Because right now, for Nick, it's like fun and games, and it's all for an act for him. But what will he do when it's not an act? What will he do when Orland actually leaves? Doesn't answer his calls, doesn't answer any of that. What's he gonna do? He has the two choices. He can reevaluate his life and say, look what it's come to. I've pushed away my husband and I don't like that. Or it's like, well, fuck him. I'm going to continue doing what I'm doing. So, of course, we've said that Nick would have a heart attack and, be in the hospital. And then, like, as soon as he gets out of the hospital after having a heart attack, he'd make a fucking video, a mukbang video like, oh, I had a heart attack and went to the hospital. Friggin' Dairy Queen mukbang. It's he, he just needs to know when enough is enough. Like, how much money does he need? Like, truly, how much money does he need? All of it. How much money do you need? Yes. Because for him, it seems like enough is never enough. It's never enough. Um, and I'd have more respect for Orland if he actually fucking stopped being such a goddamn pussy and actually stuck to it and said, hey, I'm leaving. Not just for a day or a couple hours or a week. No, you stay gone. You leave. And I understand people say he won't do that because Nick provides, even though Orland has his channel, he doesn't upload nearly as much as Nick does. Nick's the one making the money, and Orland's not going to give that up. I'm just wishful thinking. But in the end, he has to kind of, what's more important, him being financially supported by Nick or sitting there and watching Nick destroy himself for that financial support. You know, yeah, he's financially supporting Orlin, but look what it's doing to his body. Soon enough, he's not going to be around to financially support Orlin because he's going to be dead. And then Orlin's going to think, oh, gee, if there's something I could have done earlier to stop this from happening. It's the same thing with everyone else. Everyone thinks it's fun and games until you go online one day and see an article, YouTube mukbanger Nikocado Avocado dead at age whatever due to a heart attack or, whatever. And then everyone's going to be like, oh, gee, if only there was something we could have done to stop it. A senseless death that could have been easily prevented had someone actually done something. But, yeah. But according to Orlin, again, grain of salt, Nick is about almost 500 pounds already, which I believe it. It didn't take him very long to get to 400, so yeah, I believe it. So we'll see. But that's it for me. You guys know the drill. I'll see you guys later. Bye, guys.